Irontrap Garage. In this episode, we're going to start digging into the front cowl. So we pulled this body off last time you saw it, and now I'm trying to see just how bad everything is. So we're going to start in the front and the back to get the subrails so we can get the width set. So I need to address some of the damage that's in here. On this side, it's not too bad, but on this side, this is all kind of gone here. So we're going to need to reconstruct that. So let's dig in. Cut out the remainder of what's left of the original subrail and junk in here, and then I'll show you guys how I'm going to make a little patch in here to get us started. So before I start cutting into this thing, I want to just go in a little deeper here and show you guys, if you're working on one of these, kind of the important things that you want to try and either recreate or build off of. So down underneath here, this front mounting leg, this is the front bolt hole that goes through the frame rail. This is kind of like your point that you want to start off of when you're building one of these. Start with this bolt hole. As far as between the two of them, it gives you your width, and then also this is going to give you a place to work back off of the frame when you're building this. So this, luckily on my cowl here, is actually pretty nice on both of them. I mean, it's got some surface rust, but they're not thin or anything like that, so they're okay. Next thing is these little legs here that drop down. They basically are braces that go from the firewall down into our subrails to kind of brace everything together. These are pretty important to keep in place, and they all kind of connect everything together. So both of these on both sides are actually not horrible on this thing. So I think I can save them. I'll see once I actually start grinding and sanding them. The next piece is there's a piece in here that's kind of like an intermediate piece that is like a channel. It has two bolt holes right here that go into bracket that hangs off the side of the frame with a piece of wood on it. And these two bolt holes here are important as well to keep. Now this is what the subrail kind of slides underneath of, and on the back side here on this one, since it's still here, we can kind of see it, but subrail slides in behind that. The next thing is right here. There's a brace that's built into the A-pillar, and there's a bolt that goes through that as well. And our subrail is going to locate there. So these feet are really important as well. So on this side, I'm going to start cutting in here and see what we can save. I may be able to save this box section here. And the foot on this seems solid, but we'll see once we cut it apart. On the driver's side, it's really bad. So most definitely we're going to have to replace this channel, and we're going to have to kind of recreate this structure here with the foot so that we can even start sliding the subrails in. So I'm going to cut into this, take out this subrail portion, and do a little bit of wire wheeling and sanding here, see where we're at, and then we're also going to cut out the other side, and then we can, we can kind of show you guys how to recreate it. So let's get started. Alright, so I've got the other side, I cut it all apart and kind of dug in everything and really starting to assess the situation. This front section here that's rusted is, unfortunately, it's a pretty complex section, and unlike most Model A patch panels, it's pretty expensive to buy these. So we just looked online, I think it's like $300 a pair just for this little bracing stuff that's underneath. And for me, this is just going to be a fun car I'm putting together in my garage. I'm not doing a full-out, ridiculous show car that I'm hoping to be worth a lot of money. I just want to work with a rusty old piece of junk I have, make it solid, and go from there and make it safe. So what I think I'm going to do here is, we have some of this inner bracing I could still take a pattern off of. I'm going to cut this mess apart here. They've sheet metal screwed a patch into the inner bracing, and who else knows what's been done here. So I'm going to cut all that out, and I'm going to kind of cut right behind these firewall feet back in here, and cut that away and kind of recreate this part. I may have to make two pieces out of it, we'll see, and weld it together. But I'm not going to focus so much on it being an exact 100-point restoration. I'm not going to be showing this at Hershey and trying to win any kind of award. I'm just trying to make a fun little hot rod. So I'm going to get it fairly close, and get it in there and make sure that it's strong, and that's the most important thing. And then we can start building up from there. So I'm going to cut into this and see where we're at and show you guys how to make a pattern and make this little piece here. This is what we call, I call it a farmer restoration. A farmer restoration is where you use a lot of tools and supplies you would have laying around the barn. So this thing has no end to just sheet metal screws that are run into this, flathead sheet metal screws, and then galvanized metal that was probably pulled off the side of a silo or something like that. And that's what these patches are made out of. So this is shoved in here, 2 little sheet metal screws, and I mean, you can see it literally looks like it's off the side of a barn or something like that. So that's what I call farmer restoration. So you're going to see a lot of that throughout this piece. Once you see that on a vehicle that you buy, you know the whole vehicle is going to fight you when you're taking it apart. So be careful when you're buying farmer restoration vehicles. Okay, so we got the cow cut apart here. I cut the bottom off that was already rusty and messed up. I'm going to probably end up replacing 80% of this cow panel anyways, but I wanted to cut just so I can get access in here to see what I was working with. So it's surprisingly solid down in here. It's just from here up it starts to get really bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just behind this foot, or just in line with the foot that goes from the firewall. I'm going to cut there all the way around and get that out, and then we're going to try to recreate a piece that's as close as possible to matching the original shape, and also just something that's as easy as I can make, simplify it to fit in here. So I'm going to cut this across, and we're going to take a pattern off the other side, and then we'll be able to show you how to bend a piece up real quick. So this is what we're going to try and recreate, sort of closely, but yeah, this is pretty rough. But yeah, we're going to try and take a pattern off of this. I'm going to use the other side for some measurements, and this looks to be probably about 16 gauge from what I can tell here. I'll hit it. I think it looks a little thicker than 18, so we'll bend this piece up out of that and try and get it to fit up. Alright, so here's what we started with. This is rusty panel that we cut out. What I did is I sort of simplified the panel. Again, we're not doing a full 100-point restoration, so there's some little things that I can skip to make my life easier, but still, build a strong and safe vehicle. So there's a little joggle bend in here. After looking at this, I decided that I could probably live without it to make my life a little easier. It actually kind of disappears as it goes. So when I simplified, what I did is I took some chipboard and I took measurements off each of these bends and made that up. So this is, oh boy, there we go. So I made this chipboard piece here that fits in, and some of this was rotted away, so I took a measurement off the other side because it actually fits up against the A-pillar. But you can see our piece here, matches pretty nicely. So I took that, and then we could flatten this piece out and lay it on some metal. So I took a piece of metal here, and I drew lines on both sides because I usually do that just so I don't have to think about which way we're bending. Sometimes when you're bending, you need a line on the other side and you forget. So I just go ahead and draw them both sides and I can just bend. So now I got that transferred to this. I have a monster vise that I just got because I broke my old one that I've had for like 10 years. And I don't have a really big brake yet. So I'm still working with this little one here when I'm doing small jobs like this. So if somebody out there has one that they want to offer up for cheap, I'm all ears. Otherwise, we're going to use this guy here, which will get by for these small patches just fine. So let me get this all set up here and we'll do our first couple bends to show you this part. Alright, so we did the last bend here, and you can see the part that we made up. And like I said, we got rid of the little joggle that was in here. I think we can get away with that, made my life a little bit easier. This is what we started with, and this is the panel that we made. And we have some extra length, like I mentioned, on this, because that piece was rotted away so bad. But here's our template that we had, and you can see it fits up pretty good. So we know that this is going to fit pretty close. So let's take it over to the vehicle. I'll show you how we're going to fit it in, and then yeah, we'll see how it fits. All right, so we took this piece right out of the brake. I trimmed just a little corner here, so because when I first started fitting it, where it actually fits into the A pillar, had a little spot where it was interfering. So I trimmed that down a little bit, and I got to tweak it just a little bit to get everything to jive, but you can see already we got it fitting pretty good here. So what I'm going to have to do is just trim just along my line here because I made it a square cut, and right down in here where I actually cut it with a cutoff grinder and where it was rusted, it's not quite square. So I got to match them all up for our cut lines, but you can see we made a part that's fitting in here and is going to be strong and very, very similar to the original, but I don't have $300 into it. So I know I'm going to get dock points if I ever try to show this, but I really don't give a shit. So this is going to fit up, and eventually when I put the new cowl panel in here, this will spot weld to this piece here. But for right now, I'm going to get this piece fitted in here and get it welded in. So we're going to get all this cleaned up, and next time we'll show you actually fitting this in and making the inner brace and getting all this stuff welded together. So thanks guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, Irontrap Garage, and like, comment, share with your friends. Thanks guys, I'll catch you later.